Good morning, everybody. And if you're wondering why I'm so excited, it's not only because it's Friday, it's October. And if you have children, you know that because the countdown to Halloween has already begun. But October is also a time that reminds me of the changing of the seasons, which, for me is really sort of an almost 360 reminder that everything we're going through today, this week, this month, it's going to pass, it's going to change, and that everything is actually temporary. So if you are having a hard time for one or more reasons, I'd encourage you to maybe just think about that as things have changed before, they'll always keep changing, and what you're going through might just be temporary. So with that thought, I'm going to pass it off to my friend and co-founder, Dr. Drew Brazier. Drew?
Perfect. Yes, and happy October to you, and happy Halloween soon. My 6-year-old has been reminding me for the past couple weeks. We've had a countdown since I think day 50, counting down to Halloween now. So it's so exciting. And also just to piggyback on what Saurabh was saying. Um, just because it is temporary doesn't mean it's not hard. Whatever it is that you might be experiencing, it might be great moments for you. But if you are kind of in a valley right now, or in a rough spot, don't be afraid to reach out to friends and family or people around you who you can trust. One thing that whenever we're kind of in a bad place like that, or just a rough spot, we tend to think, oh, I don't want to burden others with my problems. It's interesting. We're not burdening other people whenever we share that we're having a rough moment. In fact, other people, your friends and people who really care about you are grateful that you're sharing with them, that you trust them, and that you're opening up. It is typically that's the reception when somebody really does care about you. So just think about that. You don't have to go it alone, even though it's hopefully a temporary situations. Reach out. People really will be grateful that you went to them to just talk or whatever that may be. So with that being said, I want to transition into talking about sleep in a way that different tips and different ways that you can look at sleep. And so we're gonna go through a few things here, and then you'll hear me talk about sleep all the time in different ways. But right now, these 3 tips that I'm going to talk about with sleep are things that you may not really have thought about or considered. However, they are so impactful in getting good sleep. Now, in jumping into talking about sleep, I want to make sure we're super clear. Sleep is one of the best investments you can make in this life. And it is truly an investment because it takes work. And that's okay that it takes work, because if it makes you tired, well, I mean, you're going to fall asleep. That's fantastic. But what happens when we are asleep is just, you can't, there's nothing else that can truly substitute for sleep. The restorative process that happens and what your body experiences and your brain experiences when you are getting good restorative sleep changes everything for you. A lot of times people are like, oh, I can't focus, I must have ADHD. Or, you know what, my emotions all over the place. I must have depression, anxiety. Well, maybe there are some symptoms there. You're feeling things here or there. But let's look at some of your fundamentals first, which the first one being sleep. If that's off, of course you're not going to focus. Of course your emotions are going to be dysregulated. And there might be other stuff too. But I'm just saying, first, consider all of the benefits of good restorative sleep. Now, how can you start getting sleep? Well, let's talk about that. First and foremost, I want to look at your movement through the day. I know that might sound kind of weird. You're like, what? What's that have to do with sleep? Well, there's been many, many times over the past years where talking with people about sleep, and they're like, and I'll ask, hey, well, tell me about, your day to day. What's it like? And I see that, oh, they're not moving much, not up walking around, none of that stuff. So here's the thing. If you're using your body, and your brain throughout the day like that, physically and mentally, and having movement breaks, then your body and brain want to go through the restorative process of sleep. That's just natural. If you're not moving much, which from everything sorry, I just saw a comment coming there from Jalen. Definitely got a good sleep myself and ready to take on the world. That's right. Thanks, Jalen, for that comment. See, whenever you get good sleep, Jalen, you're ready to take on the world, and I 1,000% agree with you there. But so with that being said, is the movement side, whether you have a meeting or you're just have a quick phone call you need to do, walk around. If you can just be on audio, walk around. Or if you're meeting a friend for coffee, maybe go for a walk together instead. And just do that a couple times a day for 10 to 15 minutes. Get that body moving more and more. I'm not saying you have to go do intense exercise. If you want to, that's fantastic. I'm just saying more of this, okay? Now, the other piece to this, the second one that I would say, hey, let's look at is, what time do you wake up every morning? You want to make sure that you're waking up within the same 30-minute window each morning. Okay, so let's say that you got to be up by 7 o'clock. Well, every day of the week and weekends, get up between 6:30 and 7. Now, there might be some days where you just need a little bit extra rest, but on the regular, it shouldn't be waking up at 5 and then 9 and 8 and 6 and 7. Within the same 30-minute window each day, your body then starts to say at night, okay, your body and brain start to communicate. It's time to start getting some melatonin kicking around here, get some of that GABA. Let's start going to sleep. Our body's like rhythms, okay? And it likes those processes. And so the more that we can do that, the more that deeper brain will communicate up to the front brain of shut things down, we're going to sleep. And see what happens with that, okay? So that the waking up is probably just as important, if not more important, than what time you're trying to get yourself to sleep at night, all right? Because it just then becomes natural. So that's the second thing, right? We got movement, same 30-minute window that you're waking up each day. The other piece, I want to say I love coffee. I really do. Especially being here in the Portland area, we got some great coffee places. That being said, we got to shut down the caffeine at a reasonable time, remembering the half-life of that caffeine sticking around. In other words, what's still in your system whenever you're trying to go to sleep at night. I'll see that happen often where it's like, oh yeah, well, I take a coffee at 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock, or even later. And then you're telling me that it's hard to want to get sleepy at night and to go to bed. Well, there might be a reason for that. It's because you're still a little bit hyped up on caffeine. Yeah, exposing the truth here. I see that comment of Drew loves his cold brew coffee. He really does. Yes, I do. Iced latte right here. But it's also early in the morning. So be careful with how late you're having this. If I was drinking this at 5 or 6 in the afternoon, I'm not getting to sleep at night, and I can't beat myself up over it because I know why. So think about those things. Again, movement, waking up at the same time frame each morning, and then be careful about the caffeine that you're getting in later in the day. Now, as we go into Friday, I want you just to be taking a few breaths with me for just 60 seconds before you transition into whatever you're doing today. Just take 60 seconds right now of breathing in for 3 to 4 seconds, deep down into your belly, and then out. Just give yourself that time to breathe, get grounded, focused, and go have an awesome Friday. I hope you really do get a lot of things done today and also have fun, and then get ready for a nice restorative sleep tonight.
And hopefully, Drew, that leads into a restorative weekend. Right?
Yes.
Time for ourselves and with our loved ones. And I have to share with everybody my own personal, sort of journey, or earlier in the year, my sleep was destroyed. COVID, has really impacted me and my family. And just following these practices has completely changed not only my sleep and my health, but my entire mindset.
Mhm.
I have to say, we're going into the weekend. It can seem a little counterintuitive. Why am I getting up at 5 like I do every day? Why am I getting up at 5 on Saturday and Sunday? Best decision I ever made.
Mhm.
Really, really has made a difference getting up at the same time each day. So I really appreciate this, Drew, and we'll see you again on Monday morning.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe so I say Jalen just said thank you. Thank you, Jalen. And hope you have a good weekend, everyone else as well.
Exactly. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We'll see you on the other side. Thanks again.
Have a good one.